Hi and good morning, sir. So today, me and my group members would like to present about our assignment project. So we choose a card trend company for our project. Card trend company is a trusted provider of innovative card payment solution. It's offer post, mobile, and e-commerce payment system, secure, user-friendly, and scalable solutions, serve business of all sizes across industry, dedicated R&D and strong technical support, focus on enhancing customer experience and growth. One of the main reasons for choosing CardTrend is to evaluate their commitment to data privacy and compliance with protection regulations. To analyze how they use data encryption to keep sensitive information secure, even in cases of unauthorized access. To also assess their access control measure, including the use of multi-factor authentication and secure password policy, and how they apply the principle of least privilege to restrict access only to what necessary for each role. Another important area is continuous monitoring and threat intelligence. We examine how Cardtrend monitor their system in real time and how well they leverage external intelligence to detect and respond to threat proactively. Finally, we will evaluate their incident response and digital forensic capabilities. These include reviewing how quickly and effectively they handle security breaches and how they conduct forensic investigation is in line with legal standard. Okay, the statement of the problem. Catrans Remberhard has experienced a ransomware attack that was poorly managed, revealing serious gaps in its cybersecurity response. The company also handles large volume of sensitive client data, often stored with third-party or cloud provider, which introduce additional risks such as unauthorized access, data leaks, and software vulnerabilities. Another critical issue is the absence of a well-documented incident response plan, meaning there's no clear protocol for addressing cyber attack effectively. If another major security incident occurs, the impact on operation and reputation could be severe, affecting client trust and business continuity. This problem highlights the urgent need for a thorough evaluation of Trend's security posture and preparedness. So next, I will pass to my team members.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pavitran, and today I'll be presenting my part of our group project focusing on risk assessment and risk exposure analysis for Cartran Technologies. Cartran is an IT-based company that provides digital payment and loyalty solutions, so security and risk management are crucial to their operations. Why risk assessment? First, let's talk about why risk assessment is important. Cardtrend deals with sensitive data payment transactions and backend systems that need to be up and running. Any disruption, whether through cyber attacks and internal issues, can lead to data breaches, financial loss, or reputation damage. Risk assessment helps us identify and prioritize these threats, allowing the organization to take preventive and corrective actions before a problem becomes crucial. Approach to risk assessment. For our project, we used a qualitative method to assess the risk. This is suitable when you don't have precision numerical data but still want to evaluate the level of danger each risk presents. We started by identifying the risk through internal reviews of cartridge systems, interviews with staff, industry best practices and standards such as NIST and ISO 27001, when then categorized each risk into four main types: technical risk like bugs or system failures, security risks such as unauthorized access or cyber attacks, operational risk, for example, human errors or device loss, compliance risk like failure to follow PCI, DSS, or other regulations. After identifying the categorizing, we rated each risk based on two factors: likelihood, how likely it is so happen; impact, how bad the consequences will be if it did. This gave us simple but effective ways to understand the compare risk. Next is risk matrix example. This slide show the risk matrix we use to combine likelihood and impact. You can see that the combination of high likelihood, critical impact results in the high risk level labeled critical. Meanwhile, a low likelihood and moderate impact may only result in a low exposure level. These metrics help to visualize and categorize the severity of each risk. It also provides a clear structure for deciding which risk need to urgent attention. Next is assessing risk exposure. After assessing likelihood and impact values, we use the metrics to calculate risk exposure for each threat. For example, phishing attacks had a high likelihood and severe impact, so they were rated as crucial. Ransomware was rated low likelihood but crucial impact, so it was still a high risk. Unpatched systems were high likelihood and moderate impact, making them another high exposure threat. We did this all 20 risks, then ranked them highest to lower exposures. This ranking became the basics for the risk management strategy discussed later in the report. This step was initial in helping Cartwright understand which areas they need to secure first. Our qualitative approach to risk assessment was effective in identifying and ranking threats based on risk exposure. By evaluating both likelihood and impact, we could clearly determine which risks were crucial and which were lower priority. This analysis helped the organization address vulnerabilities and improve its overall information assurance strategy. So, thank you for your attention, and I now pass it to my next presenter. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Abdurrahman, and today we're gonna discuss about this part in the company. That is the identifying risk at car trend. So first of all, risk identification is a crucial component of a company's information security strategy. For a car trend, a company operating in a data sensitive environment, numerous risks were identified through interviews, internal documentation reviews, and observation of current practices. The following sections outline the major information security and operation risks that have been identified. So first we have inadequate access control. So currently lacks robust access control mechanism which exposes the organization to unauthorized access and measures and uses of a sensitive corporate data. Weak authentication methods and inconsistent user privilege management increase the likelihood of data breaches, potential compromising confidelities, and affecting business continuity. Second thing, we have vulnerabilities in Microsoft Active Directory. Mis- misconfigurations with Cartran's Microsoft Active Directory AD represents a serious security concern. These vulnerabilities are often attributed to inexpected, inexperienced administrators or insufficient documentations, such as weakness can lead to unauthorized privilege escalations or explanations through directory-based attacks. Then we have poor data retention and disposal practice. The company does not follow a clearly defined data lifecycle policy, resulting in unnecessary retentions of or improper disposal of sensitivity data. This lapse can lead to data exposure risk and non-compliance with regularity framework such as GDPR or PDPA. So other thing we have is vendor related data breaches. Third party vendors with access to internal data pose a significant risk, especially in the absence of Regional's information assurance and compliance controls. Cartran does not currently enforce a stringent security verification process for its vendor, increasing the risk of contractual breaches and reputational harm. Also, insecure cloud storage practices. There are no enforced policies governing cloud storage for personal or organization data at card trend. This absence results in employees potentially using unsanctioned and insecure cloud service to store confidential information, applying the risk of external breaches. We also have inconsistent two-factor authentication, which is 2FA. Two-factor authentication is not uniformly applied across Caltrans software systems. Inconsistency presents a window of opportunity for unauthorized users to exploit the single factor credentials, lead to potential account compromises. Also have infrequent security audits. The company's current reliance on an annual security audits is insufficient, given the rapidly evolving threat landscape. Crucial vulnerabilities may go undetected for extended periods, increasing the potential for cyber incidents. Also have unpatched hardware vulnerabilities. Investigations have revealed that hardware security gaps remain unaddressed. Without mitigation, these vulnerabilities may be exploited by malicious actors to gain physical or remote access to sensitive systems. We have also limited monitoring and threat detection. The absence of robust intrusion detection system (IDS), log monitoring tools, and real-time alert systems limits the company's ability to respond promptly to secure incidents. This undermines Caltran's incident response capability. Also have use of shadow IT. Employees at Caltran occasionally deploy unauthorized software and devices without IT department knowledge. This practice, commonly referred to as shadow IT, bypassing corporate security controls, increasing the risk of data leaks and non-compliance. We also have the lack of security awareness among employees. There is no structured training or awareness program is placed for employees at Caltrend without regular education on phishing, data handling, and basic cybersecurity. Employees remaining a major vulnerability. We also have weak password policies. The organizations lack a formalized password policy. Users are free to create weak passwords without enforcement of complexity or change requirements. This greatly increases the likelihood of brute attack force. And then we have the outdated hardware infrastructures. The company has not updated its storage hardware since 2010. This aging infrastructure is prone to mechanical failure and may not support modern security standards, thereby threatening data availability. And we have also the lack of updates backup plans. Following its previous ransomware experience, Caltran's backup plans remain largely unchanged and insufficient. Infrequent updates reduce the relevance and effectiveness of backup, reducing in the mitigation future disaster. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi. So I will be explaining the risk mitigation strategies that we propose to address the 20 security risks identified in our risk assessment for Caltran. So risk mitigation is all about reducing the impact or likelihood of a threat. So for each risk, we have identified relevant mitigation strategies, either to prevent the risk, detect it earlier, or minimize the damage if it occurs. So let's go through them by category to keep things clear. So we will go to the cybersecurity threat. So first, phishing attacks. So these attacks are common through email or fake websites. So mitigations, we recommend conducting regular employee training to stop phishing signs using email filter and implementing stimulated phishing exercises to test awareness. So next is malware and ransomware. So this can be introduced through downloads or malicious links. So for the mitigation, we suggest to use updated antivirus software, endpoint detection system, and network segmentation to isolate critical systems. Also maintain frequent backups to restore data if ransomware hits. And the third one is DDoS attacks. These attacks flood the network with traffic calls. These attacks flood with network. These attacks flood the network with traffic causing downtime. So the mitigation, we propose traffic monitoring tools, firewall rules, and rate limiting technique. So partnering with the those protection service can also help. So next is human-related risk. So the first one, insider threats. So risks may come from careless or malicious employees. So the mitigation is just to implement role-based access control, behavior monitoring tools, and audit logs to track usations and flag anomalies. And the next one is lack of employee awareness or training. So this is a root cause of many human errors. So the mitigation, Patron should conduct mandatory security workshop, refresher courses, and include cybersecurity training during onboarding. And then next is social engineering. So next is social engineering, which is attackers manipulate staff to gain access. So the mitigation is to by improve awareness training, set up strict verification process, and use internal simulations to test responses. And then we will go to the technical and infrastructure risk. So and then we will go to the technical and infrastructure risk. So the first one is weak passwords. So it's like easy to guess password are a serious vulnerabilities. So the mitigation is just to enforce a strong password policy and enable multi-factor authentications across all systems. Next is unpatched system and outdated software. So these are easily exploitable. So to avoid this, Katran should set up a regular patching schedule and assign a dedicated team or automated system to manage updates. And then next is misconfigured servers, which can lead to data exposure. So to avoid this, we suggest to use baseline configuration templates, perform regular updates, and follow server hardening guidelines. And last but not least is lack of network monitoring. So without real-time insight, attackers can go unnoticed. So without real-time insight, attacks can go unnoticed. So to avoid this, Katran can deploy security information and event management tools, enable alert systems, and conduct continuous traffic monitoring. Next is policy and compliance risk. So the first one is regulatory non-compliance. So they can violating regulation like GDPR or PDPA can lead to fines. So the mitigation is to regular internal compliance audits, policy reviews, and employee training on regulatory applications. Next is no incident response plan. So in emergencies, which can cause a confusion and worsen the impact. So company can create a detailed IRP, assign clear roles, and run simulation exercise to test readiness. And then lack of access controls. If too many people can access sensitive data, the risk for the data to be threatened will be increased. So the mitigation is they can apply role-based access, review privileges regularly, and enforce MFA for sensitive systems. And then we will continue to the physical and environmental risk. So the first one is theft and devices. So especially for staff working remotely or offsite. So the mitigation is use full disk encryption, device tracking tools, and secure physical access control like locked server rooms. And then the next one is insecure network like public Wi-Fi. So the attackers can intercept traffic on unprotected networks. So to avoid this, Katran can enforce VPN usage, disable auto connect to public Wi-Fi, and use firewall setting for external connections. And then we will continue to do operational risk. So full backup practice. It's like no backup means total data loss if something fails. So to avoid this, implement automatic daily backups, store backups offsite or in the cloud, and test data restoration regularly. And then next, inadequate vendor management, which is the third parties which they can introduce to the risk. So for the mitigation is to conduct vendor security assessment by define clear data sharing policies and limit third-party access. And then next is over-reliance on manual processes, which is manual handling of data increase human error. So to avoid this, where possible, Katran can use automated repetitive tasks and use digital forms or workflows to reduce mistakes. And last but not least is foundational weakness. For the first one is lack of a security culture. So if security isn't seen as a priority, so policies won't work. So for this mitigation, build a strong security culture by rewarding compliance, promoting cyber awareness campaign, and encouraging reporting of suspicious activity. And for the last one is unclear roles and responsibilities in security. So if no one knows who is in charge, so the action will be delayed. So Katran can assign security responsibilities in writing, communicate the chain of command clearly, and maintain a security policy document accessible to all.